All right, what's up, guys? It's Will here from Flow Candy. Today we've got a very interesting one. It is Rare Beauty, which is Selena Gomez's brand, versus Road Skin, which is Hailey Bieber's brand. And if you've been living under a rock or you're not familiar with all the tea, as the young kids say, there's a popular sort of trend going on TikTok, or a popular question is, does Hailey Bieber just copy everything Selena Gomez does? Um, so obviously, if you're totally unaware, Selena Gomez used to date Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber is now married to Hailey. They both have beauty brands. There's a lot of clips on TikTok and Instagram of Selena saying something and then Hailey saying something very, very similar a few months later or a couple of years later. So anyway, I'm going to approach this question from an email marketing perspective. So I'm going to go through both of these brands, email marketing, their campaigns. I've got it all broken down, and I'm going to give you my analysis. Before I jump in, though, just real quick. So in this breakdown, you will get this analysis that I have right here. So I'm going to dive all into this. You'll also get the swipe files. So if you want to look at every single email they've sent over the past year, each one of these brands, I have it pulled up right here. So you can link to that. And also, don't forget the bonus. If you like this benchmarking that I'm doing, and you're like, hey, I want to do this for my own brand, I show you exactly how to do that. So it's a whole training on how you can take this exact process and do it for yourself. And if real quick, also, a lot of people ask me, hey, when's the next one? So you can always subscribe to our newsletter. I normally send out a newsletter every week because we're doing these breakdowns every week. So you can stay in touch with us there. And then a small handful of you might be like, hey, I don't have time to do any of this. Can you just do this for me? So I'm always happy to chat with anybody. You can click on this link, book a call with me, schedule some time. If you want to talk about anything about your brand, benchmarking your brand, or just email marketing in general, I do own, or I'm a co-founder of a company called Flow Candy, where we do this for larger D2C brands. We really specialize in Klaviyo, but also a lot of people book calls with me who want to talk about running an agency. So I'm happy to chat about that as well. All right, let's dive in here though, now that we got all that out of the way, and let's start at the very top. So before I really go into the emails, I always just like to see how big are these brands? How are they driving traffic? I want to sort of understand that, because I think that matters too. So when you look at, and this is where I said, the results might surprise you. I said that in my post. Right away, Road Skin is actually driving more traffic over the past 3 months than Rare Beauty, which I found kind of shocking. Not that Road, I knew both of these brands would be driving a fair amount of traffic just because they're both so popular right now. But when you think of Selena Gomez, she's like a crossover star. She's obviously a very talented artist, has been around for a while, has had a lot of hits, but she's also like an actress too. I was watching her in this, I forget the name of the show or movie, but it was with her and Martin Short and Steve Martin. Yeah. So she can cross over. And, I know a lot of people have been knocking Hailey Bieber. They call her like a Nepo baby, or because she's, her dad is one of the Baldwin brothers, or she only got famous because she married Justin. But, the numbers don't lie, guys. That's one of our mantras here at my agency, Flow Candy. Let the numbers be the guide. And she's actually driving more traffic than Selena Gomez's brand. So I'm not going to dive deep into why I think that's happening. I'm more going to look at the email marketing, but just, I prioritize traffic a lot. It is one of the most important variables, in my opinion, in online success, D2C success. and she's driving that. This brand is almost driving double the amount of traffic than Rare Beauty. Very, very interesting. Obviously, Rare Beauty has a little bit more Instagram followers. I think part of it is just Selena. Part of it is I think they've been around a little bit longer. But one thing that really stands out is Hailey's YouTube channel. It's very, very well done. I'm not going to dive deep into that, but it's much more personal. Selena's is pretty good too, but it's more around Rare Beauty. Also, Selena, she has like another YouTube channel that has like 36 million subscribers or something like that. But it's mostly showing her music videos. And again, I don't know if with maybe there's like licensing issues there. She can't really promote the Rare Beauty brand there. But still, I would say that from a YouTube perspective, Rode is actually winning. TikTok, it's not all about your followers on TikTok, because there's a lot of user generated content that matters there. But Rare does technically have more followers. When you look at the ads too, like I went through Google Transparency Center, Facebook ads library. Rare Beauty has twice the amount of ads as Rode. So I rank this all, and again, I have like a little bit of an algorithm where I rank traffic a little more, and I pegged Rare just a little bit more aware. There's a little bit more awareness around this brand. But if you're like, none of this matters, Will, I only care about traffic, I would actually peg Rode higher. So really, really interesting that they're doing more traffic. Before I jump into the actual strategy, let's get into the frequency and the tech stack here. So, I went through all their emails in 2024, 2025 so far, and I want to see how frequently are they sending campaigns. And again, it's like crazy how close they are. I mean, it's pretty much 9. They're sending 9 emails a month, pretty much, both these brands. Again, I don't know if they're copying each other, but it's, it's common to see brands send, 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30 a month. But I found it unique that they were both sending right around the same number. Tech stack, they both use Klaviyo, which Klaviyo is the market leader, the category leader in this space. So no surprise there. Rare Beauty, I got to dock them -1 points here for using Attentive. I don't know why. I mean, they're probably just locked into a contract. And they, I don't know if they can get out of it, but yeah, you guys know me. I'm pretty negative on this Attentive, for a lot of reasons that I'm not going to get into, but I would like to see both of these brands probably using Klaviyo for email and Klaviyo for SMS. I think that when you get to the size these brands are at, like you're doing millions and millions of dollars a month, millions, more like tens of millions, probably millions in views a month and traffic. Certainly Rode is doing over 1 million a month, and Rare is kind of slightly under that, but it probably flexes to over 1 million a month at certain times of the year. When you're doing that amount of traffic, that amount of sales, okay, you have so much data coming in, and so much customers, so much subscribers. Your data much better. You can build much more deeper segmentation, much more deeper personalization, stuff like that. So I recommend it's Klaviyo. I know Attentive has an email product, but my experience has been it's not nearly as comprehensive as Klaviyo's. So that would be my personal recommendation. I think both these brands could do better. PostScript, though, I do like better than Attentive. These guys are like the OGs in SMS marketing. They are very in tune to this medium. So I do give Rode the edge on that. Funny thing about this all, one thing is PostScript had like this, I think it was like really good text was what it was called. It was kind of similar to really good emails where they were just sort of profiling really good text from different brands. And it was sort of inspiration. And Attentive built something very similar. They basically ripped it off and then sued PostScript. So this is the type of company that, I mean, there's a laundry list of just like shady things Attentive has done. This is just one of them. So that's one of the main reasons why I don't recommend them. But big picture, I would recommend both these apps both these companies move email and SMS onto one platform. All right. So with that out of the way, so again, neck and neck here on digital strategy. Tech stack, I give the edge to Rode. Frequency, it's pretty much a tie. So now, slight edge to Rode now. Let's see what happens when we actually break down the strategy. Spoiler alert, I have Rode benchmarked a little bit higher. I told you guys the results were going to be surprising. There's a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram that are just so team Selena. And I get it. I'm not team either one of them. I'm just trying to be objectively scoring their email marketing. And there's just some more elevated things that Rode is doing that I'm going to get into here in a second. All right. So let's just start off the top. I mentioned elevated. One of the things that Rode doesn't do is they don't send any promotional emails. All right. So when I say a promotional email, I mean like, hey, get 10% off, or hey, get free shipping, or hey, get buy one, get one free. This is very, very popular across verticals, across niches. It doesn't matter if you're a beauty brand or an apparel brand or a supplement brand. A lot of brands send these types of emails because they drive a lot of revenue. Typically when you send a promotional email out with a discount code, people are gonna buy. And when you go look at Rode's emails, they're not doing any of that. Even when you land on their site, there's like a pop-up. There's no like, hey, get 10% off your first order or anything like that. So it's much more, they're leaning into other angles here to really promote the brand. And you might say, some of you might be like, well, Will, like this is all subjective, like these angle stuff. Like at the end of the day, all that matters is revenue. And I hear you on that. Okay. The problem is I don't have access to their revenue. I don't have both their Klaviyo accounts up in front of me. If I did, I could probably offer much more detail and benchmark it a lot better. But again, that's very sensitive data in there. But if I had to make an assumption, I would say because Rare Beauty does send a lot more promotional emails, like I just have August right here. This is a promotional email. Today only 30% off the Comfort Collection. Today only 20% off all lippies. So that I would categorize these as promotional, product-based, collection-focused emails. You could probably make an argument that Rare Beauty is probably driving more revenue from email just because of the amount of promotional emails they're sending. So I will give them that. If I had to make a guess, again, this is neck and neck, 11, 13. They're very, very close here. But if revenue was something I was forecasting here, I would maybe give the edge to Rare Beauty. You might even say Rare Beauty might have a larger list too, just because they've been around longer. I did score them a little bit higher on brand awareness. Again, the traffic is where you're going to really collect people on the list. But, I think that you could argue, I think there's a decent argument that Rare Beauty probably has a bigger list. Also, just given the fact that Selena is she's like an A-list celebrity. I could just see the list being a lot higher. They're doing more promotional emails. Like the revenue is probably just more there if I had to guess. But let's dive into the angles here, like why I have Rode a little bit higher. So again, they're higher and they're still not doing promotional emails. A couple things they do very well. They do more content emails. They do more back in stock emails. They do FAQ emails. So this is an FAQ, what I would categorize as an FAQ. Here, they sent this in June 2024. Just answering questions about the products. And again, you can get inspiration here from your customers. You could literally just go look at the reviews your customers are leaving on your Amazon store or on, the reviews you have on your site and just turn them into an FAQ email. Also, this is a social proof email here, just highlighting testimonials or quotes that press has left them. And I think Selena was doing that. Rare Beauty was doing that. I saw a couple of those. But I didn't really see much like FAQ stuff. It's much more promotional. It's much more bottom of funnel, middle of funnel, whatever you want to call it, where it's just product, very, very heavy product. And again, that works from a revenue standpoint a lot of the time. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad thing. But I will say that Rode there's just a little bit more. Maybe they're trying to build more community, even though I've heard people say that Selena's community is way better. But, there's definitely a little bit more elevated sort of angles here. It's not as product focused. It's more top of funnel. They're not just trying to sell product necessarily. There is a lot of product-based emails. There is a lot of products in the emails, but again, it's not very promotional. And they're not a lot of the heroes don't even have pictures of the product in it. It's like pictures of Hailey or pictures of other people maybe using the product, while Rare Beauty is very, very this is stock product photography in the hero image. So just something to think about. Again, a lot of them do product launches, product focus, collection focus emails. Both of these brands do it well. I would give the edge to social proof emails to Rode Beauty, even though Rare is doing that. I would consider this a customer-based email or maybe an employee highlight email. So there's a little bit of social proof here, but Rode will literally have, let's see if I can find it. Well, it's very common for them to have just other influencers like UGC style emails or UGC in their emails. They also do these emails where it's they're highlighting actual customers. So this is a girl from Sweden. They have another girl from Korea that I was looking at. Or maybe it's this one. No, this is one from Hawaii. So they'll literally do these customer-based emails. This one, I don't think, it has one Rode product in it, and that's about it. So it's very, very top of funnel. I talk about a brand that does this really, really good. It's totally unrelated to this industry is Huckberry. It's on the men's side. They obviously sell a lot of men's apparel and cool men's gadgets and stuff. And they'll just do emails where or they'll just have content where they'll send their team out to go look at really cool houses or go to really cool destinations. And the whole email will be about that. And it's not till you get to the bottom where they'll do maybe a little bit of product stuff. So, I think that's why I think it's a little bit more elevated when it comes to just the strategy here. Does it translate over to revenue? I'm not totally sure. But yeah, you could see the difference. Just there's a lot more user generated content, a lot more people in the community using the product. There's a lot more stock photography here, whether it's Selena doing it or product based photography. They do. I think Rode does a better job at that. When it comes to just moving through it here, they do some collabs, although I think both of them could do more. Selena partnered with her husband, I think, or fiance. And then Rode did a collab with Claudia Schiffer. So collabs, limited editions, they're both doing customer spotlights. They're both doing gift guides. You might even be able to give that a team spotlight email to them. I thought Rode did a better job with highlighting retail partners. I think Rare is in Sephora. I didn't see much Sephora emails. A lot of these brands will try to drive traffic to their retail partners. That way, it just keeps that relationship good. It can drive cash flow to the retailer. And I don't think I saw any of that. While Rode was maybe not highlighting retailers, but they were talking a lot about pop-up shops. So they'll have various pop-up shops. Like here's one right here. I think there's a pop-up in the desert. When is this? April? Is this what's that big music festival in LA? I forget. Not Burning Man, the other one. Anyway, that is I do think they do. Both of them could probably do a better job with the retailer stuff. I'm not sure if Rode has a lot of retail distribution, but yeah, they are. I technically give the edge there to Rode. Charity. So this is interesting. So I saw a lot of people talking about, Rare Beauty's, and this is just what people are talking about on TikTok. Okay, so take it with a grain of salt. Rare Beauty is an actual brand. Rode is just this this storefront that Hailey Bieber put up just to try to monetize herself, and it's only popular with people who just want to look like Hailey Bieber, while Rare actually has a brand behind it. And I watched a lot of videos on stuff like that. I also watched a lot of videos of people comparing the products. I would say that Rode is positioned a little bit more elevated, positioned a little bit more premium, even luxury, because they're not doing discounting. But then I watched like Jeffree Star, who's a very famous influencer. He has his own cosmetics brand too. And he was saying Rare Beauty, he likes the products better from Rare Beauty. So I'm not going to get into all of that, but I will say from like a charity standpoint, a lot of people were saying that one of the reasons they really like Selena Gomez's Rare Beauty brand is because she leans so much into mental health, and she cares about that cause, and it's like sort of embedded in the brand. And that's true. They do some mental health awareness sort of stuff here. But it's not like Rode is not doing stuff like that. Actually, they're doing more of it when you look at it. So they'll do this Black Maternal Health Week. They did this in April last year. Okay. And they're having they're raising awareness to something almost every month. Like I'm trying to find the LA wildfires. They did a lot of stuff around that. Well, here's this girls one they did in September, and then Road Futures in October. So again, they're trying to raise awareness to certain social causes. And then, January is when those wildfires were happening. So they spent they sent a fair amount of emails on this. So that was the first one. They sent another one in February. So yeah, I mean, it's not like this is just some pump and dump, which if you go by what's on TikTok, that's sort of what they're telling you. I do think that actually, both of them have like some sort of charity or some sort of social giving that they're passionate about. And I actually think Rode, they both do it, but if I had to score it, I would give the edge to Rode there a little bit. Okay, so that, again, I sort of told you guys, I do think it's a little bit more elevated, Rode. If I had to guess, I'd probably say Rare is probably making more money from email marketing just because of Selena, who Selena is, and the fact that they're sending promotional emails. Let's talk into like what I think these brands could be doing better. So one thing I recommend every brand do is text-based emails. And a lot of people are like, oh, don't send those. They're off brand. But hey, look, I benchmarked Lemmy, which is Kourtney Kardashian's brand, last 2 or 3 weeks ago. And this is like one of the hottest brands in all of D2C Shopify space right now. And they were even sending text-based emails. Okay. And I benchmarked Lemmy is higher than both these brands in terms of email marketing. They're doing a little bit more. It's a little bit more elevated. So I think they could be doing that. Again, if you go off design too, I'm going to talk about this because I think there's pros and cons to both. I think Rare Beauty, obviously, their design is a little bit more elevated when you look at it. You can tell there's more color here. They're just doing a little bit more, and it looks like Rode is just sort of duplicating the same template, maybe changing out the logo, changing out the text and stuff like that. But you'd be like, wow, like Selena Gomez's emails look better. And that might be true, but it's not always about design, to be honest with you. I know some brands that just send text-based emails, and they do just as well as brands that send super elevated emails. Another thing you have to think about too when it comes to this stuff is, right now both these brands are sending about 10 emails a month, 9 emails a month. There's a lot of production that goes into that, especially probably on Rare Beauty's side. With Rode, it's probably a lot easier for them to deploy these emails. Like an email like this little text-based email, I wouldn't say text-based necessarily, but more text-based. This doesn't take long to build. You clone it, you add in the text blocks. This might be a design block. This might be a text block. I'm not really sure. But yeah, these are a lot easier to build. These are all images. You just need the designer to make the image. Then you don't even need a developer to really build out these emails. While with Selena's brand, there's probably somebody with some CSS, HTML chops that are building these emails, if I had to guess. So design, both of them are using a design system. I think both of them seem to be working because they can, again, a lot of brands get stuck just being able to send 10 emails a month. It's a hard workflow to keep up with. But both of them, I could see that Rhodes is probably a little bit easier to deploy. I also think there's a lot of content that Selena could be doing better. She's such a powerful star. She has, there's just a lot of stuff that she could probably be doing and carrying over to the brand. A lot more trending now they could be doing. They do a good job launching the products. Like they'll tease the products too. I do think when I was looking at Lemmy though, they had a little bit better of a product launch strategy. They don't need to go like full product launch strategy like Jerry Jeff Walker. If anybody knows who I'm talking about there, like that's like OG internet marketing product launch. Like you don't need to get like so crazy with this stuff, but yeah, I do think that they're pretty close here. But I do think that there's some things they could be doing better. All right, so we've gone through it all, and I think the results to me, I have to give the slight edge to Rode. Actually, not saying Rare is doing anything bad, but when right away, what stuck out to me is they're driving more traffic. It's a little bit more of an elevated email strategy. They're doing more. They just have more angles they're using. They're not just trying to lean into promotions. Rare Beauty is doing a lot more promotions. They basically send the same amount of emails a month. And then I do like the tech stack that Rode is on better than Rare Beauty. So that's my analysis. Again, if you liked this and you want to learn how to do it on your own brand, go check out my benchmarking training. I link to it right here, and it just shows you how to basically do everything that I just did on your own. And if you want to stay tuned for the next one, like we do a lot of these breakdowns, you can always subscribe here and we'll email you when they go live. And then, if you just don't have time and you're busy, you don't have the bandwidth to do this, and you would like for me to do it for your own brand, you can always book a call with me here. just head here, click on this link, book a call, and you can schedule some time, and I'll be happy to chat with you for 15, 20 minutes to see if I can help you. All right, that's it, guys. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys on the next breakdown.